Across human space, the response was immediate and overwhelming. Ships emerged from hidden docks, their designs unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Ground-based weapons platforms revealed themselves, their technology so advanced it seemed to defy physics itself. Every human colony, every outpost, every mining station transformed into a bristling fortress. The Kraxan fleet, caught completely off guard, attempted to regroup. Their commanders, still clinging to their belief in human inferiority, ordered an attack on New Eden's orbital defenses. It was a mistake they wouldn't live to regret. The colony's defensive systems activated, unleashing weapons that the Kraxan had thought impossible. Quantum phase torpedoes bypassed their shields completely. Gravity lances crushed entire battleships into spheres the size of shuttlecraft. Reality distortion fields caused their most powerful dreadnoughts to simply cease existing. Message from the Kraxan flagship, Rivera reported, his voice tight with suppressed excitement. They're requesting immediate cessation of hostilities. Helena leaned forward. Put them through. The High Commander's image appeared, its chitinous features arranged in what Helena had learned to recognize as terror. What are you? It demanded. This technology. It's impossible. No, Helena replied calmly. It was merely hidden. For decades, you laughed at our primitive technology while we built wonders. You mocked our simple colonies while we created fortresses. Now you understand. Humanity was never weak. We were waiting. The High Commander's mandibles clicked rapidly. The Empire will not stand for this deception. We will bring our full might. You don't have time, Helena interrupted. While we've been talking, human forces have already secured 17 of your forward bases. Check your long-range communications. The alien's compound eyes widened as it verified her words. Across Kraxan space, hidden human fleets were emerging, striking with surgical precision at key military installations. Each target fell within minutes, their defenders helpless against technology they couldn't even comprehend. You have a choice, Helena continued. Surrender now, or watch as we dismantle your empire piece by piece. We don't want war. We never did. That's why we hid our strength for so long. But if you force our hand, you will learn why the galaxy's greatest predators are often the ones that look harmless until it's too late. As the Kraxan commander processed her words, Helena allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Humanity's long deception was ending, but its true victory wasn't in the technology they'd hidden or the fortresses they'd built. It was in proving that sometimes the most dangerous wolf is the one that walks among the sheep, waiting for the right moment to bare its teeth. The galaxy was about to learn a vital lesson. Never mistake patience for weakness, and never underestimate humanity's capacity for innovation or deception. The Kraxan Empire's response to humanity's revelation was predictable. They attacked with everything they had. Thousands of warships poured from their core systems, determined to crush what they saw as humanity's betrayal of the galactic order. But humanity was done hiding. Admiral Helena Chen watched from the Shadowfalls Bridge as the massive Kraxan armada approached Earth's solar system. Behind her, holographic displays showed hundreds of other battles raging across human space, each one a demonstration of just how badly the aliens had underestimated humanity's capabilities. All defense grids are active, Commander Rivera reported. Project Starforge is ready. Helena nodded, her expression grave. Signal the Sol Defense Fleet. Begin the sequence. What happened next would be talked about in whispered tones across the galaxy for centuries to come. As the Kraxan fleet entered the solar system, expecting to find Earth cowering behind its supposedly primitive defenses, they instead witnessed something unprecedented. The sun itself seemed to ripple. Dyson Swarm is online, a technician announced. Solar energy capture at maximum capacity. Around Earth's star, thousands of previously invisible satellites revealed themselves, each one part of a vast network that humanity had spent decades constructing in secret. The Dyson Swarm wasn't just a power collection system, it was the largest weapon ever created. They're scanning the swarm, Rivera reported. Their signals indicate confusion and fear. Open a channel to their command ship, Helena ordered. When the connection established, she faced the Kraxan Supreme Commander directly. This is your final warning. Retreat now. The alien leader's mandibles clicked in defiance. You think your tricks will save you. We will. Helena cut the transmission with a gesture. They never learn. Execute Operation Solar Wind. Admiral Helena Chen stood at the viewport of her flagship, the TNS Shadowfall, watching distant stars glimmer against the void. Her reflection showed a woman in her 50s, with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen too much. The ship's quantum stealth systems were active, making them invisible not just to conventional sensors, but to the very fabric of space-time itself. Status report, she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of 2 decades of secrecy. Commander Rivera approached with a datapad. The Kraxan fleet just passed through the Arcturus sector, Admiral. They didn't detect us as expected. Their sensor technology is still centuries behind what they think we have. Helena allowed herself a small smile. For 30 years, humanity had maintained an elaborate facade of technological inferiority while building the most advanced fleet the galaxy had ever seen. The Kraxan Empire, like most alien civilizations, saw humans as barely space-capable primitives, struggling with basic fusion drives while they boasted of their superior quantum technology. If only they knew. Show me their latest propaganda broadcast, Helena ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a Kraxan High Commander, a towering chitinous being with multiple compound eyes. The alien's translators conveyed its sneering tone perfectly. These humans, it chittered, barely able to reach their own system's edge, dare to refuse our generous offer of protection. Their primitive ships would make excellent target practice for our cadets. Perhaps we should demonstrate our power so they understand their place in the galaxy. The broadcast ended, and Helena's smile grew sharper. The Kraxan had no idea they were about to become an object lesson in the danger of underestimating humanity. Behind their facade of outdated ships and struggling colonies, Earth had created technological marvels that would have seemed like magic to their opponents. Time to begin Phase 1, Helena announced. Signal the fleet. All ships activate quantum mirrors. Around the Shadowfall, space rippled as 50 other vessels of similar size shimmered into view, each a masterpiece of human engineering. They had been there all along, hidden in plain sight, watching and waiting. Ma'am, Rivera reported, we're detecting Kraxan warships entering the Procyon system. They're moving to engage our defensive fleet. He emphasized the last words, referring to the deliberately outdated ships humanity used as their public face. Let them take the bait, Helena ordered. Alert Admiral Zhang's fleet to be ready for Phase 2. The Kraxan are about to learn that humanity's weakness was the greatest deception in galactic history. The next few hours unfolded exactly as planned. The Kraxan fleet, confident in their superiority, moved to attack Earth's supposedly primitive defense force near Procyon. The outdated human ships fled, drawing the aliens deeper into the trap. They're in position, Rivera announced. All ships reporting ready. Helena straightened her uniform. Signal all ships. Execute Operation Revelation. Across the battlefield, Helena's hidden fleet decloaked simultaneously. The Kraxan ships suddenly found themselves surrounded by vessels that shouldn't exist. Sleek, angular ships of a design so advanced, they seemed to bend reality around them. Open a channel to the Kraxan flagship, Helena commanded. When the alien commander's image appeared, its compound eyes widened in visible shock. This is Admiral Helena Chen of the Terran Navy, she announced, allowing herself to savor the moment. For decades, you and others have laughed at humanity's primitive technology. Today, that changes. You're surrounded by ships using technology you thought impossible. Your weapons cannot touch us. Your shields cannot stop us. I suggest you surrender. The Kraxan commander chittered in rage. Impossible. These are holographic tricks. Humans are barely above. Helena cut the transmission with a gesture. All ships, execute containment protocol. Non-lethal takedowns only. We're making a point, not starting a war. What followed wasn't really a battle. It was a demonstration. The human ships moved through space in ways that defied conventional physics, their quantum drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. Their weapons didn't destroy the Kraxan ships, but systematically disabled them with surgical precision. Within 20 minutes, the entire Kraxan fleet hung powerless in space, their engines and weapons offline, their crews unharmed but thoroughly humbled. Send the message to Earth, Helena ordered. Operation Revelation is a success. We can begin Phase 2. As she watched the disabled Kraxan ships drift, Helena thought about the decades of preparation that had led to this moment. The countless scientists and engineers who had worked in secret, the politicians who had maintained the facade of weakness, the soldiers who had endured alien mockery while knowing the truth. Send to all ships, she commanded. Well done, everyone. Today, humanity steps out of the shadows. Tomorrow, we reshape the galaxy. The message went out, and cheers erupted across the fleet, but Helena kept her eyes on the stars ahead. This was just the beginning. The Kraxan were only one of many civilizations that had underestimated humanity. Soon, they would all learn that Earth's greatest weapon had never been its technology. It had been patience. As the Shadowfall moved to secure the disabled Kraxan vessels, Helena allowed herself a moment of reflection. Somewhere out there, other alien civilizations were still laughing at humanity's perceived weakness. Let them laugh, she thought. Their education was about to begin. News of the Kraxan fleet's defeat spread through the galaxy like wildfire, but few believed the initial reports. The Terran News Network broadcast carefully edited footage showing only their decoy fleet's retreat, maintaining humanity's facade of weakness even as Helena's hidden armada prepared for the next phase. The Kraxan High Command has gone silent, Commander Rivera reported, standing in the Shadowfall's Strategic Command Center. Our intelligence suggests they're mobilizing their main battle groups. Helena studied the holographic display showing troop movements across the galaxy. As expected, their pride won't let them admit what happened. How many ships? Over 3,000 vessels, Admiral. They're calling it a peacekeeping force to protect their interests in human space. Perfect. Helena's smile was predatory. They're playing right into our hands. Signal the colonies. Initiate Protocol Chrysalis. Across a dozen human colony worlds, something extraordinary began to happen. What appeared to be simple mining operations and agricultural settlements suddenly transformed. Mountains split open, revealing vast underground cities. Oceans parted, exposing submarine manufacturing facilities. Even the seemingly primitive orbital platforms began to change, quantum shields dropping to reveal advanced defense stations. On New Eden, the largest human colony, Governor Marcus Wright stood in the control room of what had appeared to be a simple farming community. As the ground rumbled and massive doors opened in the earth, he activated the global communications network. Citizens of New Eden, he announced, his voice steady despite the historic magnitude of the moment. For 3 generations, we have hidden our true strength. Today, we emerge from our chrysalis. Take your positions. Remember your training. Below the colony's surface, endless rows of advanced weaponry and ships stood ready. Every farmer was a trained soldier. Every miner was a combat engineer. The entire colony had been a carefully constructed deception, hiding its true nature as one of humanity's most powerful military bases. In orbit, the Kraxan Advance Fleet arrived, expecting to find helpless colonies ripe for conquest. Instead, they encountered something unprecedented. The quantum shields that had hidden humanity's true capabilities for so long dissolved, revealing a web of defenses that turned each colony into an impregnable fortress. Back on the Shadowfall, Helena watched the Kraxan fleet's approach. Status of Project Nightfall. All colonial defense systems are online, Rivera confirmed. The Kraxan are scanning the installations, but their sensors can't penetrate our quantum barriers. They're completely blind to our true capabilities. Helena nodded. Open a channel to all human forces. Text only. Her fingers flew across the console as she typed. The time for hiding is over. Show them what humanity can do. Authorization, Chen Alpha 1. Across human space, the response was immediate and overwhelming. Ships emerged from hidden docks, their designs unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Ground-based weapons platforms revealed themselves, their technology so advanced it seemed to defy physics itself. Every human colony, every outpost, every mining station transformed into a bristling fortress. The Kraxan fleet, caught completely off guard, attempted to regroup. Their commanders, still clinging to their belief in human inferiority, ordered an attack on New Eden's orbital defenses. It was a mistake they wouldn't live to regret. The colony's defensive systems activated, unleashing weapons that the Kraxan had thought impossible. Quantum phase torpedoes bypassed their shields completely. Gravity lances crushed entire battleships into spheres the size of shuttlecraft. Reality distortion fields caused their most powerful dreadnoughts to simply cease existing. Message from the Kraxan flagship, River reported, his voice tight with suppressed excitement. They're requesting immediate cessation of hostilities. Helena leaned forward. Put them through. The High Commander's image appeared, its chitinous features arranged in what Helena had learned to recognize as terror. What are you? It demanded. This technology, it's impossible. No, Helena replied calmly. It was merely hidden. For decades, you laughed at our primitive technology while we built wonders. You mocked our simple colonies while we created fortresses. Now you understand. Humanity was never weak. We were waiting. The High Commander's mandibles clicked rapidly. The Empire will not stand for this deception. We will bring our full might. You don't have time, Helena interrupted. While we've been talking, human forces have already secured 17 of your forward bases. Check your long-range communications. The alien's compound eyes widened as it verified her words. Across Kraxan space, hidden human fleets were emerging, striking with surgical precision at key military installations. Each target fell within minutes, their defenders helpless against technology they couldn't even comprehend. You have a choice, Helena continued. Surrender now, or watch as we dismantle your empire piece by piece. We don't want war. We never did. That's why we hid our strength for so long. But if you force our hand, you will learn why the galaxy's greatest predators are often the ones that look harmless until it's too late. As the Kraxan commander processed her words, Helena allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Humanity's long deception was ending, but its true victory wasn't in the technology they'd hidden or the fortresses they'd built. It was in proving that sometimes the most dangerous wolf is the one that walks among the sheep, waiting for the right moment to bare its teeth. The galaxy was about to learn a vital lesson. Never mistake patience for weakness, and never underestimate humanity's capacity for innovation or deception. The Kraxan Empire's response to humanity's revelation was predictable. They attacked with everything they had. Thousands of warships poured from their core systems, determined to crush what they saw as humanity's betrayal of the galactic order. But humanity was done hiding. Admiral Helena Chen watched from the Shadow Falls Bridge as the massive Kraxan armada approached Earth's solar system. Behind her, holographic displays showed hundreds of other battles raging across human space, each one a demonstration of just how badly the aliens had underestimated humanity's capabilities. All defense grids are active, Commander Rivera reported. Project Starforge is ready. Helena nodded, her expression grave. Signal the Sol Defense Fleet. Begin the sequence. What happened next would be talked about in whispered tones across the galaxy for centuries to come. As the Kraxan fleet entered the solar system, expecting to find Earth cowering behind its supposedly primitive defenses, they instead witnessed something unprecedented. The sun itself seemed to ripple. Dyson Swarm is online, a technician announced. Solar energy capture at maximum capacity. Around Earth's star, thousands of previously invisible satellites revealed themselves, each one part of a vast network that humanity had spent decades constructing in secret. The Dyson swarm wasn't just a power collection system. It was the largest weapon ever created. "They're scanning the swarm," Rivera reported. "Their signals indicate confusion and fear." "Open a channel to their command ship," Helena ordered. When the connection established, she faced the Kraxan Supreme Commander directly. "This is your final warning. Retreat now." The alien leader's mandibles clicked in defiance. "You think your tricks will save you. We will." Helena cut the transmission with a gesture. "They never learn. Execute Operation Solar Wind." The Dyson swarm activated, channeling the sun's energy through quantum conduits. Beams of concentrated solar plasma lanced out, not at the Kraxan ships, but at seemingly empty points in space. For a moment, nothing happened. Then reality itself began to tear. "Quantum gateways stable," Rivera announced. "Fleet emergence in 3, 2, 1. From the artificial wormholes created by the Dyson swarm's energy, humanity's true fleet emerged. Not dozens of ships, not hundreds, but thousands. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering, incorporating technologies that humanity had developed in secret over generations. The Kraxan fleet, despite their numbers, suddenly found themselves outmatched in every conceivable way. Human ships phased through their weapons fire as if it didn't exist. Quantum torpedoes bypassed their strongest shields. Reality distortion fields turned their formations into chaos. "Message from Earth Command," Rivera said. "Other species are watching. The Centaurians, the Rigelians, even the Arcturus Collective, they're all monitoring this battle." Helena smiled grimly. "Good. Let them see. Let them all see what happens when you push humanity too far." The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted less than an hour. The mighty Kraxan armada, pride of their empire, was systematically dismantled by forces they couldn't even comprehend. Their ships were disabled rather than destroyed, their crews captured rather than killed. It wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. As the last Kraxan dreadnought surrendered, Helena received an urgent communication from Earth's diplomatic corps. Other species, long dominated by the Kraxan, were reaching out. They had seen humanity's power, and they wanted to talk. "Admiral," Rivera said, his voice tight with emotion, "we're receiving transmissions from dozens of worlds. The Centaurians are overthrowing their Kraxan overlords. The Rigelians are declaring independence. It's spreading across the galaxy. Everyone who's ever suffered under Kraxan rule is rising up." Helena watched the tactical displays as more and more systems erupted in rebellion. The Kraxan Empire, which had stood for millennia, was crumbling in a matter of hours. Not because humanity had destroyed them, but because humanity had shown it was possible to resist them. "Send word to all human forces," she ordered. "Phase 3 begins now. Any species fighting for freedom against the Kraxan is to be given full support. Share our technology, our resources, everything they need." As the orders went out, Helena thought about the long path that had led to this moment. Humanity had hidden its strength not out of fear, but because they had been waiting for the right moment, not just to defeat the Kraxan, but to free the galaxy from their tyranny. "Ma'am," Rivera said softly, "the Arcturus Collective is requesting permission to send diplomats to Earth. They say they've never seen anything like what we've done here. They want to learn from us." Helena's smile was both proud and slightly sad. "Tell them we'll be happy to teach them. After all, that's humanity's real strength. Not our technology, not our weapons, but our ability to inspire others to reach for the stars." As the Shadowfall moved to secure the solar system, news of humanity's victory spread across the galaxy at faster-than-light speeds. The species that had once laughed at Earth's primitive civilization were now watching in awe as humanity stepped onto the galactic stage, not as supplicants, but as liberators. The tables hadn't just turned, they had been completely rewritten. And the galaxy would never be the same. The galactic map in the Shadowfall's command center was transforming by the hour. Systems that had been under Kraxan control for millennia were declaring independence, their newly formed governments reaching out to Earth for protection and guidance. But Admiral Helena Chen knew the real battle was just beginning. Report from the Centaurian front. Commander Rivera announced. Their resistance forces have successfully secured 3 major Kraxan strongholds using our quantum shield penetrators. The Rigelians have taken control of their sector's primary shipyards. Helena studied the tactical display, watching as more and more systems turned from Kraxan red to Liberation green. And the Kraxan response. They're consolidating their forces around their homeworld, Kraxus Prime. Intel suggests they're activating weapons platforms we've never seen before. They're calling it the final defense. Desperate beings make desperate choices, Helena murmured. Signal the Coalition fleet. It's time to end this. The Coalition fleet was something unprecedented in galactic history. Ships from 24 different species, all united under human leadership. The formerly subjugated races had quickly adapted humanity's shared technology, integrating it with their own unique innovations. As the combined fleet assembled near the Arcturus waypoint, Helena addressed the gathered commanders via quantum entanglement communication. Their faces filled the bridge's holographic display. Some humanoid, others wildly alien, but all sharing the same determined expression. For too long, the Kraxan Empire has ruled through fear and deception, Helena began. They convinced the galaxy that technological advancement could only come through their guidance. They suppressed innovation, stifled creativity, and punished any species that dared to think differently. Today, we proved them wrong once and for all. The fleet moved out, thousands of ships strong. At its heart was humanity's contribution. The newly unveiled Prometheus-class vessels, each powered by a miniaturized version of the Sol Dyson swarm technology. They didn't just break the laws of physics, they rewrote them. The Kraxan had fortified their homeworld with everything they had left. Orbital rings bristled with weapon emplacements. Artificial singularities created gravitational barriers. Reality distortion fields warped space itself into an impenetrable maze. But they had never faced anything like this coalition. All ships, execute Operation Thunderbreak, Helena commanded. The coalition fleet split into precisely coordinated attack groups, each leveraging their species' unique strengths. Centaurian phase shifters created gaps in the gravitational barriers. Rigelian psychic navigators guided ships through the distorted space, and humanity's quantum technology systematically dismantled the Kraxan's most powerful weapons. The battle for Kraxos Prime would be remembered as the moment that changed galactic history. The Kraxan fought with the desperation of a cornered beast, unleashing experimental weapons that threatened to tear reality apart. But for every weapon they revealed, the Coalition had an answer. Admiral, Rivera called out, his voice urgent. We're detecting massive energy buildup from the Kraxan Central Command. They're trying to collapse their star. Helena's blood ran cold. The Kraxan would rather destroy their entire system than admit defeat. Signal the Prometheus Squadron. Execute Protocol Stellar Guardian. The massive human vessels moved into position around the Kraxan star, their Dyson technology extending to create a containment field. The Kraxan weapon activated, attempting to trigger a premature supernova, but the star's energy was caught and redirected, feeding back into the Coalition's shields. Message from the Kraxan High Command, Rivera reported. They're asking for terms of surrender. The bridge fell silent. After millennia of dominance, after centuries of oppression, the Kraxan Empire was finally falling. But Helena knew this wasn't just a military victory. It was a victory for every species that had ever been told they weren't good enough, smart enough, or advanced enough to determine their own destiny. Open a channel to their command, she ordered. When the Kraxan Supreme Leader appeared, its once proud bearing now hunched in defeat, Helena spoke clearly and firmly. Your surrender will be accepted on one condition. Your empire ends today. Not just your military, not just your government, but your entire philosophy of racial superiority and technological suppression. The alien leader's mandibles clicked slowly. "And if we refuse? Then we leave," Helena replied simply. "We take our fleet, our technology, and our protection, and we leave you to face every species you've ever oppressed. I imagine they have quite a lot to discuss with you." The surrender was signed within the hour. As coalition ships secured the Kraxan homeworld, Helena received messages from across the galaxy. Species that had been neutral or hostile were now requesting diplomatic relations with Earth. The barriers of fear and distrust that had divided the galaxy were crumbling. But in her private quarters later, Helena looked at the stars with concern. They had won the war, but maintaining the peace would be an even greater challenge. Humanity had emerged from hiding to become one of the most powerful forces in the galaxy. The question now was, what would they do with that power? The answer, she knew, would determine not just humanity's future, but the future of every species that had joined their cause. The real work was just beginning. 1 year after the fall of the Kraxan Empire, Earth had become the center of a new galactic order. The Terran Concordat, as it came to be known, wasn't an empire or a federation. It was something entirely new. A coalition of free species, united not by force or fear, but by shared knowledge and mutual respect. Admiral Helena Chen stood in the newly constructed Concordat Assembly on Earth, watching representatives from over 30 species debate the future of galactic civilization. The massive chamber, designed to accommodate beings of all shapes and sizes, hummed with translator devices and quantum communication arrays. "Quite a change from hiding in the shadows, isn't it?" Commander Rivera asked, now serving as Earth's military liaison to the Concordat. Helena nodded, watching a Centaurian delegate discuss terraforming techniques with a Rigelian scientist. "Sometimes I wonder if we did the right thing, keeping our capabilities secret for so long." The results speak for themselves. Rivera gestured to a holographic display, showing the galaxy's transformation. Former Kraxan worlds were flourishing under self-governance. Trade routes once controlled by imperial decree now flowed freely. Species that had been enemies for millennia were working together, sharing innovations that the Kraxan had suppressed. But challenges remained. The Shadowfall, now serving as the flagship of the Concordat defense fleet, still patrolled the borders of known space. Not everyone welcomed the new order. Some former Kraxan allies had retreated into isolation, building up arms and making veiled threats. Report from the Arcturus sector. A young lieutenant approached with a datapad. "The archaeological team has confirmed it. The Kraxan didn't develop their technology independently. They stole it from ancient ruins, then destroyed the evidence to maintain their superiority myth." Helena wasn't surprised. The Kraxan's fall had revealed many such secrets. Their entire empire had been built on lies, suppressing other species' advancement while claiming credit for innovations they had merely stolen and hidden. "Madam Admiral," a melodious voice called. Helena turned to see Ambassador Cathal, a being of living crystal from the Rigel system. "The assembly is ready for your address." Helena straightened her uniform and approached the central podium. As she looked out at the gathered representatives, she thought about how far they had all come. Humans who had hidden their true potential for generations. Former slave species, now standing proud and free. Even reformed Kraxan, working to atone for their empire's crimes. 1 year ago, she began, her voice carried clearly to all attendees through their translation devices. The galaxy changed forever. Not because humanity revealed its strength, not because the Kraxan Empire fell, but because we all learned a fundamental truth. Progress comes not from domination, but from cooperation. The chamber fell silent, all attention focused on her words. "We humans hid our advances not out of fear, but because we saw what the Kraxan Empire truly was, a stagnant force that maintained power by preventing others from growing. We waited, we watched, and when the moment came, we didn't just fight for ourselves. We fought for everyone who had ever been told they weren't worthy of reaching for the stars." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. Today, we face new challenges. There are those who would return us to the old ways of dominance and suppression. But they fail to understand what makes the Concordat different. Our strength isn't in our technology, our weapons, or our ships. Our strength is in our diversity, our creativity, and our willingness to learn from each other. Helena gestured to the galaxy map hovering above the chamber. Look at what we've achieved in just 1 year. The Centaurians have revolutionized terraforming. The Rigelians have expanded our understanding of psychic sciences. The Arcturus Collective has made breakthroughs in quantum mathematics that even we humans hadn't considered. This is what happens when species are free to grow, to innovate, to reach their full potential. She paused, making eye contact with representatives from each major species. The Concordat isn't just a political alliance. It's a promise that never again will any species be held back by another's fear or greed. A promise that knowledge will flow freely, that innovation will be celebrated, not suppressed. A promise that together, we can achieve things that none of us could accomplish alone. As she concluded her speech, the chamber erupted in approval. Species that once would have never interacted were discussing joint projects, sharing ideas, planning futures together. Later, back on the Shadowfall's observation deck, Helena watched Earth rotate slowly below. Commander Rivera joined her, carrying 2 cups of coffee. The Arcturus Collective has proposed establishing a multi-species research institute, he reported. They want to name it after you. Helena chuckled. Tell them to name it after humanity instead. We all played our part. As they stood there, watching the cradle of human civilization, Helena thought about the future. The galaxy was entering an unprecedented age of cooperation and discovery. The chains of empire had been broken, replaced by bonds of mutual respect and shared purpose. You know, Rivera said thoughtfully, the Kraxan used to laugh at us, calling us primitive, unworthy. I wonder what they think now. Helena smiled. I hope they've learned what we knew all along. That true strength isn't about dominating others. It's about lifting them up, helping them grow, and growing alongside them. Above them, ships of all species moved through Earth's orbit, their designs as varied as their crews. Each one represented a story of liberation, of potential unleashed, of barriers broken. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity had helped make it happen. Not through conquest, not through dominance, but through patience, wisdom, and the understanding that sometimes the greatest victory isn't in showing your strength, but in helping others find theirs. The new dawn had arrived, and its light would shine on all species equally.